Hi, Bob Leda here, and welcome to this episode of Stepping into the River. This time we're going to be talking about tension and preparation for movement, what Frank Pierce Jones called a postural set. Now, tension is a funny word because it really depends on context. If I were to stand up and go into a crouch, I feel a lot of muscular effort in my legs, but it's appropriate for what I'm doing. If I come back to sitting, if I feel that same amount of muscular effort, I'll call that tension. I like the Alexander teacher Don Weed's definition of tension. It's muscular effort that's above and beyond what's necessary for the task. We generally talk about tension being something we want to get rid of. And in this video, you'll see another approach. It'll be something that we can take advantage of. We'll be looking at what a student does when he's preparing to play and sing, really put him in contact with that, and then offering him a way to take advantage of it, turning a roadblock of tension into a resource that he can use. So let's watch, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, see you soon. There it is. Okay, right. Dylan, we got your crew here. Extra eyes, extra ears, here to offer insight and illumination into how you go about playing. Now we'll do our usual stuff. Compare Dylan's top half to bottom half. Left side to right side, where is home base? Where does he go when finishing a phrase? Front half to back half, which is contributing more to keeping him upright. What you catch about his breathing and where your attention goes as Dylan plays. That's the general stuff. Now you had something specific that you wanted to have him look for as well.
Oh, yeah, so I feel like, well, a brief disclaimer. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to play one of my favorite jazz standards, but I'm going to sing along with it and it's kind of like an improvised arrangement of it. So typically I would sing and play in a band context. But something that I've noticed is that when I'm singing and playing simultaneously, it's a very different experience, especially for singing, while doing both at the same time than it would be if I was just singing without playing. There's almost kind of a tense feeling that I get, so I kind of want to pay more attention to that.
Okay, so we'll look at additional and talking about mice-like things that are drawn up around singing, because it's something that he's observed over time. So that's a perfect day for it. All right, I'm getting out of the way.
Okay,
it's all yours.
Thank you. Pressure's on.
Has the murmuring sound of rain. All silver bells, carousels, coral shells, and the laughter of children at play. Say, Emily, 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 as we fade to a marvelous view, two lovers alone and out of sight, seeing images in the firelight. As my eyes visualize a family, they see Emily, Emily too. seeing images in the firelight as my eyes visualize a family. They see Emily, Emily too.
I would like to get this sort of what's going on when you're singing, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You were here the first week, right? And remember we did the postural session, postural waves thing? I forget who, tell me I did, there's one class where I didn't do that. Tell me I did that. I did do that in this class. Who was, I forget who it was.
From the first class?
Yeah.
Like the
That was
standing
you.
at
Yeah,
me?
that was you,
Yeah.
okay. So, what I want to find for you is that set that's can get turned into a wave for you, okay? So what I want you to do is just play the beginning and then that's it.
So just up those little
Yeah,
lines?
just that little bit, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Emily, Emily.
Okay, perfect. So what did you do in order to sing?
Well,
You could do it again. Well, yeah, but
do what again?
yeah, just do that again and see how you mobilized yourself in order to sing.
Okay.
Emily.
Right, okay.
So what is it, yeah, what do you sense about yourself?
Well, I feel like the breath is not, well, not good is probably a little reductive to say, but I feel like the breath is just fairly shallow.
And so what did you do when you noticed that? Try it again.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Emily, Emily.
Yeah, just trying to be more aware of it, I guess, was what I was attempting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then sort of what happened? What did you feel with yourself?
Well, there's like the split attention thing, so what I'm kind of focusing here, but there's like a slight tenseness.
Okay, and where did you notice
tension.
it? Yeah, where did you notice this tension?
Like just right.
Right, in this neighborhood, at Primrose, that's what you spotted with all of this. Yeah, there's something happening here,
Mhm.
right? And remember the thing where if you want to know more about what you do, you start to do it, but don't actually do it. So go ahead and, and then just beginning
Right.
to say the first E in Emily and see what you notice about
Okay.
yourself, okay?
Just the first E?
Yeah.
More or less?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh, shit, yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right,
there it
right.
is. Yep.
So there's this sort of paradox that's happening,
Mhm.
and you can see it in your gesture, where I'm sort of, and it was going this away,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, right.
But yet, your support is that away.
Right.
So you're moving away from your support in order to do something difficult.
Mhm.
And we all do this. This isn't the point you out,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
All right, so, but this is, there's this wave of energy that somehow is sort of going into the tension that you feel there, right? Remember, it's a companion. It's there, it's an offering from your unconscious that says, hey, you need this in order to sing. So this time you do get to play, and you get to go Emily, Emily, and know that that companion is there to be with you and assist you as you're singing. Okay? So try a couple of them. Okay.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, because we'll do it.
Okay. And could you state that again?
Sure. That this tension that you feel
Mhm.
comes from an wave of energy that your unconscious is giving you so that you can sing. And right now, it's, getting a little balanced up.
Right.
So the first part is to recognize it's being there and that it's a companion and a resource for you. And it'll just recognize it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Emily, Emily, Emily.
Yes, there. Can you hear that difference?
Yeah.
That's remarkable, man. What did you all hear?
I just noticed right now like the bass sound pretty
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Everything seemed a bit clearer. Like you could hear it
Yeah.
kind of like ringing out a bit more.
I feel like it was more cohesive.
Cohesive, yeah, right. Yeah, that separation, I don't know if you all caught that before, but I felt that you felt like singing is one thing, playing the bass is another, and there's kind of these two things
Right.
happening, rather than one thing that has two aspects to it. Was that a different experience for you?
Yes,
Any
yes.
words?
Well, it definitely felt more unified as an experience for
Mhm.
me, I'd say. And yeah, it's interesting because it's not like there was no tension at all at any point,
Right.
but it's like I felt it and then I kind of not adjusted to it, but kind of like let it be there.
Yeah,
but kind of made
no, I
room
can
for
see,
it,
yeah,
I
right,
guess.
right. And this time we can just take it one step further, right? That's that wave that's there to help you out, and you can take advantage of it. You know, and you kind of almost surf on it and ride it as you play. So I'm gonna go away, you get to play the whole thing. And these waves will continue to come up. They're offerings from your unconscious saying, hey, you need this. And they don't have to go into tension, they can go into your playing, and you can just ask for that, and it will go. So,
Okay. Well,
Emily, Emily, Emily has the murmuring sound of May. All silver bells, coral shells, carousels, and the laughter of children at play. Say, Emily, 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 as we fade to a marvelous view, two lovers alone and out of sight, seeing images in the firelight, as my eyes visualize a family. They see Emily, Emily too. Emily, Emily, Emily has the murmuring sound of May. Oh, silver bells, coral shells, carousels, and the laughter of as my eyes visualize a family. They see Emily, Emily too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What did you see? What did you hear?
Awesomeness.
Like, now I could see and feel like you made me smile. Like, wow. This is it was very good performance because what it projected that you were really like one with your instrument and with yourself in a way. I don't know, because there was a lot of counterpoint between your voice and like you were
Yeah,
really
right.
hearing yourself. The phrasing of the solo was like very like you were. I actually felt that you were like talking, but with the
Right.
notes on your instruments. So I was like, whoa, like really moved me. Like, yeah.
Raul and then Liam.
Yeah, like the whole thing was more fluid. The time was like solid. Even when you had like little things that it like still like just moved on, like the noon matter and like I don't know. Also in your solo you like took a breath, and as you were breathing out that was the phrase. And then you took a breath and then you had the next phrase. I love that was awesome.
Yeah. I was going to mention the same thing, like, you know, especially during that solo section, the breaths were a lot deeper, but then there were also moments that sort of kind of like lifted me. I'm like, you know, where there was times where it's like it felt like you were like singing a little louder, like more vigorously, and that maybe the breath had something to do with that, where it was like I could hear it, and then it was like kind of more powerful. And then there were moments where a little bit of the melody sounded different. And I'm like, oh, he's in the zone. He's feeling himself. Like, this is awesome. But then one thing that I really noticed that I thought was really nice, more so in the beginning, was I noticed that, like, as compared to the first time during the first part when you were singing the verse, you didn't necessarily like keep looking at your left hand and singing at the same time, and there was more time where your head was kind of just like facing straight and your eyes were closed instead of just looking down here, and it was like, okay, all right, this is a sign. And I was like, and I dug it.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I feel like at the end, the beginning was really good, and then I feel like you were thinking a little bit like in the middle, but then by the end, I feel like I don't know, the last like 8 bars or something. I feel like you got it, and like it. Felt like I was watching like a performance instead of him like practicing it and trying to.
No, I'm
figure
with you
out.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
If I could mention something
Yeah.
else, so we were talking about like before we saw the like left side. This time we see more not bouncing but balanced on both
Yeah.
sides, like more like this.
No, this
Yeah.
was a finding the
Yeah.
center thing too. Yeah. Was that a different experience for you?
Dude, like 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. Any words?
I agree with what everyone said, but like, yeah, it's not like it was like a complete like, oh, this is completely fluid, this is great, but it's like I was able to adapt to what I was feeling in the moment. It isn't like I was panicking about
Right.
how I was feeling what I was feeling, but it's just something that I noticed and then tried to kind of take with me and work around.
What I felt like, Zoe, similar to what you were saying, that there was, here's a bass player, here's a singer, and the bass player is accompanying the singer. You know, it was just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interaction between the two, even though it's just you. And in the second time through, when you were singing, it was really astounding to listen to, because you were okay with your voice being a little behind, you know, and it just weaved together so nicely. It's like, oh man, Dylan, where'd you find that? You know? But with this, were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, just jumping off what you're saying, I was trying to find the words. And I feel like you had a lot of moments of acceptance,
That's fair.
which is like, not to say that you're like not wanting to improve or like change things, but you're noticing things and you're saying, all right, that's a thing, keep going.
Right.
Like, and that's big.
So
And-
no, go ahead.
Well, and that just transferred into, I think, all of these like moments of refinding fluidity and like enjoying yourself.
I was gonna say it felt very
Yeah.
positive.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like you were more like you that second time through.
So
Not
this
that I know you,
this
but
technique, this technique going from a set to a wave that's a resource is going from a roadblock to, oh, this is a gift, I can use this, rather than to go like that. So you go from a roadblock to a resource, or from today, a red zone to a blue zone. You were singing much more in a blue zone, even though it's a difficult circumstance to sing it. So, a big hand. Welcome back. We had a fundamental question for this student to explore: how to change these postural sets, which are static, into postural waves, which are moving and able to be taken advantage of. Well, we go through a few steps. The first of those is to begin to recognize what you're doing to mobilize yourself when you make a voluntary movement. And first you try it, and then to get really detailed about it, you start to make the movement but don't actually make it. So say I'm about to stand up, I'll begin to stand up, but don't start, and I feel something right here. So that's my set. Now, to change this set into a wave, to really turn it into something that's much more useful for us, first we recognize that it's a companion, and that it is there to assist us. So we'd go into the movement. For this student, it was to sing Emily, Emily, and see how that set comes into being and accompanies him as he sings the notes. He got to that, and then went one step further and said, how can I take advantage of this companion? I know it's here to help me. And what can I do to do that? And then he took it from there. He could feel the difference. The people in the room could hear the difference. I could see the difference. And I hope you have an appreciation for what changed for him. So we turn tension from not something to be a roadblock, to be gotten rid of, but rather something to be taking advantage of. And that, for myself, is the heart of Alexander Technique. Thanks for being here this week. I hope this was useful for you, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.